Well, I want to wish a fantastic day to one and all. I hope you had a great World Kindness Day yesterday. And as you know, I've produced about 2,000 videos, one take wonders, I like to call them, all about positivity, kindness, and no politics, no religion, no business. But what I'm about to tell you is going to scare the living shit out of you. But there's a saying: the more you know, the easier your life is, and the more valuable you are to others. And sometimes they say ignorance is bliss. But in this situation, if your head's in the sand, your life is in peril. And this is a really horrendous thing you're about to hear. So if you're one of those that like to ignore the facts, turn it off now. And so here goes. If we have an EMP or a CME, we're going to have an ELE. Now, again, I like to teach people about things. An ELE is an extinction level event. And we've had 6 of those on the planet. And some say we're in one now, but we'll see. Now, let's start with a CME. That's a coronal mass ejection. And we've had them in the past. And they knock out electricity. Now, the last one that knocked out the world's electricity was in 1859. And luckily, the only thing that was electrical back then was the telegraph. And that was knocked out, and it took a couple months to repair. If the same CME hits today, it's the end of civilization as we know it. And also, I'll go into detail what's going to happen when electricity goes out. But an EMP also can do that, and that's man-made. That's when you release a nuclear bomb over a city in space outside of our atmosphere, and that knocks out the electricity as well. So, and Quebec had one. Look it up. Quebec had a CME. It wasn't a bad one. And in 1859, like I say, it knocked out the world's electricity. So here's what happens without electricity. You can't watch this video. You will not have running water. You will not have any money because it's all electronic. You will not be able to buy gas. The groceries will be eliminated in a few days. You know, they have a thing called Thanksgiving that's coming up. And the stores, and that's not an emergency, but the store shelves are pretty much closed out. We have a 30-day supply of food, basically. But without electricity and being able to refrigerate the food, it's only a few days. So this is an act of kindness, what I'm doing today. I'm going to scare the living shit out of you because it's not if this is going to happen, it's when. And they say about every 100 years. So we're overdue for one. And it may just knock out half the world's electricity, which would be great. But if it knocks it all out, I watched a documentary that I've been saying this for years because I'm a pretty logical guy. I got a lot of common sense, and I know what's going to happen without electricity. And this documentary on the History Channel called Doomsday, and they dictated 10 different ways that the world's going to end. But I've been saying this about electricity for years. And I learned more from this History Channel. So I'm going to tell you a few more things that's going to happen. Without electricity, the nuclear power plants melt down because they need electricity for the cooling of the water for the rods. And so if the starvation and the mass hysteria doesn't kill you, the radioactive clouds will. It's the end of civilization as we know it. There are going to be no police because they can't communicate. They're going to take care of their families. People will kill for water. They'll kill for food. It'll be primal. It's horrendous. What else did they say? And I knew all this already. The cities are shut down. There's no lights, so you can't drive. You won't be able to drive your car. To get out of the city is going to be horrendous. So the reason I'm saying all this is because you got to prepare. And there's a whole group around the world called preppers, and that's they store their water, they store their food. And when this all happens, though, if you don't have guns to protect yourself, people are going to kill you for your water and your food. So my suggestion to prepare is to have a desalinator. which is if you're living near an ocean, there's salty water that will give you water. Live out in the hills where there's a fresh stream of water. We've polluted the whole planet, so the water is pretty much destroyed already. And then without it running, and life is so easy because you turn on the water and you got water. You turn on the lights, you have lights, and we take that for granted. We've all had blackouts before, probably. I mean, nowadays cities shut off the electricity because we're not conserving. So they say, "Oh, you can't conserve? We're going to shut it off for you." So there'll be blackouts on purpose because we can't conserve. People are selfish. They just think of themselves. And I've been saying for years, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be kind to the planet. And being kind to the planet is conserving, using less water, less electricity. But I'm going to tell you some good news after this in a minute. And I'm holding the camera here today because I just had to get this out. It's like 3 a.m. I said, I can't hold it any longer. So there's a way to protect us. But because humans are greedy, it probably won't happen. Because everyone's going to say, "Oh, it's not going to happen." It's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. So here's the deal. All the electrical grids are run by private companies. They're not going to spend the billions of dollars it takes to protect from a CME or an EMP. And they can. That's the beauty of it. We can protect our electrical grid if we spend billions of dollars on it. And we're spending trillions of dollars on wars, but no, we're not going to spend it on electrical. And that's the end of civilization. Again, it's not if, it's when. So write to your local congressman, stand up, fight. We are the numbers, We can we can protect our planet by protecting the electrical grid. This is the most urgent thing, the most urgent video I've ever made. And it has to be said. Sticking your head in the sand is not going to solve the solution. Now, even if you're in the hills and you have your own solar panels, people will find you. So it's not going to be an easy situation when the electricity goes out. But to prepare, you're going to last a little bit longer. I live here in Antigua, Guatemala. Even with this little city going out, there's no food. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I mean, if this isn't scaring you, nothing will. And if you think I'm wrong, look it up. Look up an EMP. Look up a CME. Look up ELE. Look these things up. I'm a pretty smart guy. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I have a lot of knowledge in me. And I want to do the kind thing by telling you this because you need to know. You need to know that it's a possibility. And it might happen in your lifetime. It may happen in your kid's lifetime. And it might happen in your great grandkids. By the way, did I tell you Quebec had one? Yeah, I think I did. So this is just a video that's the worst thing I've ever had to put out, but ignorance is not a smart thing to have. You got to know what's going on in the world. There's a lot of bad things going on in the world. There's 32 wars going on. There's too much greed out there. But nature, volcanoes, we've had 2004 tsunami, 9.2 earthquake, the biggest in history, or second biggest, that destroyed in the Indian Ocean, that destroyed 225,000 people, killed them, and had 200-foot tsunamis. So there's lots of things that can happen. Earthquakes, volcanoes can go off, and they have in the past, and they've destroyed lots of lives. I'm not laughing, please. I'm just trying to get the word out. Please, people, be prepared. Be a prepper. Store food, store water, have candles, have guns. You need guns to protect yourselves. People, guns don't kill people. People kill people. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Oh, life. Life is beautiful. Life is wonderful, but we need to live. We have to. I think our strongest instinct is for survival, and this is a survival tape. I want you guys to really do your homework. Find out that I'm not lying. I never lie. I can't lie. lying, stealing, cheating, all those things stop when you're kind. And I'm an ambassador of kindness, I like to say. I think I've said it all pretty much on this particular case. There's a couple other things I wanted to say, and I'll think about it in a second. But pretty much, this is something you need to share. This is something you really need to research. I know you're busy working; you have no time for this, but it's important, really, really important for survival. And I hope everyone does survive. I hope it doesn't happen for 300 years, because in 100 years, we're all history. We're all distant memory. I mean, very few people know what their great grandfather's father did in his life. We all think life's, and we all have a lot of people have the weight of the world on their shoulders when they shouldn't. They're stressed. If you listen to my 3 commitments to kindness, it solves all mankind's problems. It solves your problems. It reduces stress, anxiety, depression. It brings you happiness. I've got hundreds of testimonials that I'm right. And I love being able to bring you fantastic news. This is the first one of 2,000 videos on this channel that is not so happy, but it's a kind thing, I'm telling you. I'm educating you on the possibilities of extinction of our planet. And we can do it. We can get the governments to force the utilities, or at least pay for it, to reinforce the electrical grid. Write to your congressman. Call the president. Let's do it now before it's too late. Love you all. Have a fantastic day. And I hope I'm wrong. I'm not wrong, but I hope we can do something about it.